Okay, we are on. I would like to open up the Georgetown Planning Board, September 13th, 2017 meeting, Memorial Town Hall, third floor conference room. It's 7:05. And before we get into the minutes, the vouchers correspondence, I'd like to go out of order just to I'll notify everybody who's here for, I'm assuming, Bailey Lane. And Bailey Lane, because we have an absent planning board member, it's a special permit with Bailey Lane, and they want all 5 members present for their actions, which I understand why. So, we're not gonna be hearing that meeting tonight, we're only gonna be continuing that meeting tonight, and it's gonna get continued till, I'm thinking, the 27th of September. So we will, when we get to that on the agenda, we will open it up for resetting the meeting only. That's all we're gonna discuss about it, and I just wanted to let you all know so that you don't have to stay. So with that, let's go to minutes. We have 2, July 12th and August 23rd.
I'll make a motion to approve July 12th board meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion has been made and been seconded to approve the meeting minutes of July 12th, 2017. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. 4 yes, 1 absent. Shirley, if you'd be so kind on the other.
Okay. I make a motion to approve August 23rd planning board meeting.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to approve the August 23rd, 2017 meeting minutes. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I abstain, I was absent for that meeting.
Okay, 3 yes, 1 abstain, and 1 absent. Okay, so that takes care of meeting minutes. Vouchers?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the voucher to H.L. Graham Associates for $1,500, invoice number 171223.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to approve the voucher to H.L. Graham Associates in the amount of $1,500.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
would the record please reflect that I recuse from this?
Record so shows.
Thank you.
Harry's recused from this item, as it's Palmer Lane. So who, someone second that? Who seconded?
Me.
You did, okay. All right, so any more discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Aye. 3 yes, 1 recused, and 1 absent.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
make a motion to approve the Mass Association of Planning Directors annual membership for $90.
Second?
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to approve the voucher in the amount of $90 for the Mass Association of Planning Directors annual membership dues. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr.
4
Chairman,
yes, 1 absent, sir.
motion to approve the voucher $70 employment listing for the MMA Town Planner.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the $70 voucher for Mass Municipal Association's employment listing on MMA for Town Planner. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Aye. Oh, I'm sorry. I
I'm
missed
just
that.
noticing that it's from 3/31/16. Was that just something that was found, or did they not bill us for a long
Well,
time?
when I first got here, this was brought up before the board. I think it was one of the first meetings, and the board questioned why we were paying for that ad and felt it was the responsibility of the Board of Selectmen. And it eventually made its way back here, still unpaid, and I think the tug of war.
It's
You
our
were
planner.
$70.
It's our planner.
Yeah. That's what they felt.
It's not their planner.
So
So when they call next time, don't answer. We have call
any
already.
more discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
4 yes, 1 absent. We have one more here, but, oh, we have 2 more.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the voucher in the amount of $328.25 for the North of Boston legal ad for the 1A, 1B Weir Spalding Road.
Second for discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to approve the voucher in the amount of $328.25 for the North of Boston legal advertisement. Discussion.
What is this for?
That was a public hearing that we had for 1A and 1B rear Spalding Road. That was
The
a
applicant
common
usually pays for
driveway.
that.
What's that?
The applicant pays for that.
What happened is they did pay for it, and then it had to be, it's being reimbursed. It was advertised twice, and once was the fault of, yeah, so.
Any more discussion?
No.
No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4 yes, 1 absent. And the last one.
Make a motion to approve $76.75 of Staples.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to approve the voucher in the amount of $76.75 for planning office supplies from Staples. Any discussion? Discussion. Did you guys get together and talk about all making motions different, all of you guys making motions tonight?
No, why?
I came in here tonight and it was gonna be one of the things I was gonna mention. I was gonna say, you know, it'd be really nice if we all started making motions different and you guys are doing it. It's like, what?
Universe is so random, isn't
Something-
it?
Isn't that amazing? All right, seeing no more
You
discussion.
don't know what head to turn, huh?
It's great. It's great. It's good to see.
It's a nightmare for you. You
No,
have to
no, it's
change
fine.
the name.
Can I clarify one thing, going back to that publication? They did pay for it. We ended up paying the bill, but they gave us the check for that, so.
That old one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
How did they
okay.
give us the check?
they actually paid for it, and then we're paying the paper through their money, so they're not getting a freebie.
Good.
They
don't
gave
understand how
they
that
gave
happens.
they gave the check, this was going back a ways, where, they gave us the money, I think it was back in February for the advertisement. Now, and we ended up depositing that.
In the general fund?
Yeah, correct, and now we're just paying for it, but
Yeah.
the applicant actually paid for that,
So that went into the general fund?
yeah.
That was a withdrawal without prejudice, and it was too late because they already advertised it.
Yeah,
That was a slip up, and they just didn't pay it. I don't know.
yeah, we did eventually get the money though,
Yeah.
The town got the money,
yeah, so it isn't a freebie.
but it's coming out of our budget.
Well, it's money.
But the town
yeah.
got the money.
Now it is, yeah.
Okay.
So, seeing no more discussion on the Staples Planning Office supplies voucher, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, that takes care of vouchers. Correspondence, we have, first item, we all need to sign a updated registry information for the planning board. Is that in here?
Yes.
I feel like we've done this recently.
We did it individually, I think. But I don't know what happened to the paperwork, so.
This one's going in.
Oh, this one's actually gonna get
This
sent
is
in?
gonna go in.
Way
With
cool.
the correct
Can we,
dates and
can we put
everything.
a 3 on the number of signatures required for the A and Rs?
Why? How come there's only 2 listed under approval not required?
Typically, it would be the chairman and the vice chairman in place of the chairman.
Okay.
But is the policy of this planning board that 3 people sign A
Signatures,
and R?
any one of the 5.
Uh-huh, so what we
So
can do
we'll
is,
print in the person's
Yeah,
name and then,
yeah.
It doesn't look like this?
no, and you know, and I brought it
is
up
that?
to Andrea this afternoon, that typically it's the chairman or the vice chairman instead of the.
Yep.
But not 3 members. Some towns, you know, delegate A and R endorsement to.
Would you like that authority?
Well, you know what the thing is with an approval not required plan? It is either an approval not required plan or it's not.
Yeah.
So it has to fully comply with the minimum zoning requirements for frontage and lot size. It doesn't, it's off to a variance, it's a subdivision.
May I?
Correct, Tilly?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All those signatures are
Are the
going
vouchers in
around.
there as well? Cause I didn't sign any vouchers.
The vouchers are
Is it
in
everything,
there.
I'm assuming is in there?
Okay, I need it back.
Um, Moving forward, there probably is a better way to do signatures versus right now, like we're signing this, and then we're gonna sign vouchers, and I don't wanna keep the meeting going.
Yeah. Wait till the end, and sign everything.
I think, yeah, I think,
It's a good way to never get them. We'll all be leaving.
I won't let you go out the door.
well, I think what I'd like to do is conclude correspondence, and before we go to, Palmer Lane sureties, get the signatures down. Just at least, for anyone following along, get a sense of where we are. You had mentioned that you thought you were gonna have, Andrea come to meetings for meeting minutes,
Yeah, she just,
not tonight. In the future, do you think you might do that?
yeah, you know, for bigger meetings, yeah. She's also, she can do the minutes from a video. This is first time she does that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I always notice that on the minutes. It always says minutes taken by. It really should say minutes transcribed by, for accuracy. And implies that that person's actually there.
Right.
To make it appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, she would lose it on my nose and everything. Rob reads the motions after the motion, that really helps.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
he goes over.
Transcribe.
When I go back to listen to some old meetings, you know, on my computer, sometimes they cut them right off. What did she do then?
She looked at you.
Do you fill her in?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, usually, yeah, I mean, it's the motions that count, who
Yeah.
wrote it, who made the motions. The accuracy of that is what's required.
Everything else is just color.
Yeah. Name, they basically
Who's
say.
there? Time it open. Time it close. Who's there? Who's not?
For the sureties, Rob.
We're gonna have to move it on to the next, item, just to go with members, right? Harry's, he's, Bob's not here and Harry's not. He's
We need three.
recused.
You have three?
No. Thank you. Last time, at the August 23rd meeting, we deferred it to this meeting for just that reason, for just this reason.
No, it was just the three of us. Just you two, Tilly and me, I think.
Was that all we had then?
Yeah, we didn't have, with me out, you only had two members.
He's got the book.
Yeah, okay. I do have
Okay.
Form I and K completed, if we do take up that surety issue.
Okay, so, next on the agenda, the surety is Palmer Lane definitive subdivision, special permit surety real estate. Having to do with amending the surety amount for the 12 July 2017 meeting. Map lot, map 10, lot 15.
Mr. Chairman?
So,
Please let the record show that I recuse.
so noted. John, what do you want us to say about that?
Let's see, if everybody had a chance to read through the staff report, the motions are accurate.
Okay.
What happened was we established a surety for $122,420. The accurate amount was $107,789.06. So we're going to amend that lower, and that would be in accordance with the most recent rules and regulations for establishing sureties. And then, dating back to the July 12th meeting, the planning board voted to allow the chairman to execute Form I and Form K in the event we did vote, or the board did vote to reduce the surety. And both of those forms are ready for signature by the chairman tonight.
And we already made that motion, right? Yep.
That is correct. At the end of the staff report, you'll see that.
So the draft motion is in place for
Yes.
to put forth on the table?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow though why we're doing the new motion. What was the old motion?
The old motion that took place at the July 12th meeting, it was to establish a surety in the amount of $122,000.
I see, and this is
But
just to correct that
Yeah.
amount? Okay, great. I move to reduce the presently established Palmer Lane subdivision cash surety of $122,420 to $107,789.06. This amended sum accurately represents the surety necessary to complete all of the remaining work items associated with the subdivision pursuant to the appropriate section of the planning board subdivision regulations and in accordance with the actual cost to complete the subdivision in 1 year as provided by the town's consultant engineer, Dave Varga. Note, said surety shall be reviewed and adjusted annually relative to the actual cost to complete all remaining work items multiplied by a 5% annual rate of inflation.
Second.
So the motion has been made and has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Recused.
One recused, one absent, 3 yes. And the draft motion as written, I won't repeat it again because it's written and it was stated.
And you have the forms for Rob to sign. Perfect.
So I'll sign those since we already voted on. This has a notary block here, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
I am a
Is that
notary.
you? Are you
I
notary?
don't have my stamp with me, but I
Yeah,
can,
it is.
You can attest to it?
3
I can,
signatures.
I can stamp it tomorrow and bring it back. I'm witnessing it tonight, so.
Want to take them with you, and, yeah.
Swing by tomorrow afternoon.
It's the way it's done.
Rob, you're doing this as your free action deed. You're over the age of 18 and of sound mind.
What? Yeah.
Need to see his license? Personally, I want to.
Now it has SS, I'm assuming it's social security, oh, that's you. Okay, so I'll get these to you. Thank you. The only thing I'd just like to mention about Palmer Lane is, can we notify them to have them maintain that home that's right up front, the yard? It's really a mess in terms of the grass growing up, it looks like an abandoned site. And there's no reason they can't cut it and make it look. Okay, moving on, we have,
Sorry, Rob. I think this one needs to be, Form K needs to be signed by a majority of the board.
I think we authorized,
Majority of the planning board of the
move to
town.
authorize.
Yeah, the
planning board
the
to-
covenant release form. Yeah.
So that does need to be signed by all of us, and I can't notarize my own signature.
That's what I said, 3 signatures.
Didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Say it louder.
I recuse.
Yeah, well, you know what, we can bring it back, at a subsequent meeting, because,
Does you have to?
they don't actually need these recorded yet, until they actually convey. They're building the houses, but they're not conveying until they're completed.
So Form I is accurate, that's, you'll notarize that, and then Form K will all sign at the next planning board meeting.
Who's our notary?
Andrew's a notary.
Andrea, yeah, but she's not.
My mind lapsed when I was in New Hampshire.
Okay. So, moving on to other business, 36R and 64 Elm Street lot line adjustment. John, you wanna introduce that?
Yes, this is a lot line adjustment plan. Everybody got a copy of the plan itself. And you can see the former lot line.
So looking for.
Did you see it?
What, no. So looking for that.
When you find it, show me.
Comes in, it's got
I
this big
remember.
chunk, and this has got this big chunk.
That one,
Yeah.
okay.
So they're incorporating,
Yeah.
this was all this lot, and now they're pushing the lot line that way, enlarging this
It's
lot,
pretty simple.
and shrinking
Di-
that one.
What's different is they're showing this,
Thank you.
they've got that, they just ran it up. They didn't include that.
What happened to 47? 10B 47.
The owner of lot 47 came in today to the office. I don't know if person's here. Is Paul or Mary
Is the
Jansen
applicant here?
in the audience? They said they were
It just looks,
They
it
said
looks,
they were gonna be out of town.
it looks very, very different from the town map.
Yeah, there's a little
And it
bit,
seems like there's a
the
whole
town-
parcel here that's being eliminated, that's not being shown.
town maps cannot be considered accurate.
They're just tax maps.
Right.
They're not.
This was an actual in-the-field survey done. The person ends up with more land than what the tax maps actually show. So that person ends up with more land.
I get it, but there's a lot called 10B 47.
That's,
I'm not 10B 47.
and so that's what this is
What's
called, 10B 47.
Uh-huh. Well, it's pointing to this. Right, but,
Oh, we were saying, where is that lot?
yeah, and it,
Is it identifying another lot beside 10B lot 47?
that's what it is, it's not.
So if it's
Yeah,
only,
this is not.
is that?
that is.
What in addition to 10B 47 is being listed on that, that's not shown on this? What number is it?
It has 47 up here,
Right.
and then it has 48 as the large one.
So 48 is the large one. 47 is shown also here. And I guess.
Well,
yeah,
that's what I
guess-
can't understand. This is being
guess-
shown as 48, and then when you
But
get
I
up
get-
here, it says 47.
Well, I think you're looking at the graphics of that, and I don't, and I can't go by those, and as long as the tax numbers, that's why I was asking, is there a
Right.
different one shown? So as long as there's a lot 47, and there's a lot 48, and there's a lot 46, and that jives with what the assessor's office has for lot numbers,
Right.
then I go by the stamp surveyor's
Absolutely.
review, and this is legit.
But
and
what I
that's-
can't discern here is that 47 is being pointed out as here. Right?
Yeah,
See what the dot is?
Yeah,
And 48 is being pointed out as here.
Yeah, but if you could, can I just?
Are we
inter-
combining
can
the
I
parcels? Is
interject?
that what's happening?
If you look at the main lot here.
The
right?
48.
Okay, just read the whole note. Paul and Mary Jansen,
Hmm?
number 36R Elm Street.
what note are you referring to?
The
This one,
the
this main one here.
southern note itself.
Okay,
It's,
if you read that through in its entirety, map 10B, lot 48, book and page 71080, parcel 2. All right, that's parcel 2. Revised area, parcels 1 and 2 equaling 11 acres, .784, all right? So parcel 1 is this one, that's parcel 1, right? This is parcel 2. Parcel 1 and parcel 2 are being revised to equal this total. And then land is being transferred from this parcel over to this parcel, creating a new border. So there's 3 parcels involved with their lot lines being adjusted in accordance with what this plan shows. This plan was produced by an in-the-field survey.
Uh-huh.
So whatever is in the assessors records is, you know, a depiction, but it's not an accurate depiction. What's on this plan is accurate based on an in-the-field survey. In the testament of the surveyor that did it, that it's accurate within, what's the note say? It's usually within 10,000.
So I think what this lot line adjustment is doing is it's still keeping 3 lots.
Right.
It's keeping lot 47, it's keeping lot 48, and it's keeping lot 46.
I'm not seeing that because 47 seems to be combined now with 48.
No, it just,
I don't see the separation between 47 and 48.
because of the numbers, the square footage?
No, if this is parcel 10B 47, up here,
Yep,
if this is 47,
yeah.
I'm seeing a continuation into this lot, and this lot's being called, so
I
is it
see
being
what you're saying
combined?
exactly, but doesn't this answer that? Owner's reference, 10B47, 10B48.
And,
Doesn't
and
that answer that question?
Even though these aren't labeled, these are
10B.
former lot lines.
Okay. that's what I'm,
Yeah,
in other words, it's not showing that that line is being eliminated.
right.
It's showing that it's being combined, but it's not.
And it's the way the legend is going.
Should we
This is a
continue
former
until
lot.
the applicant shows up?
So, it just for my sake, lot 47 is now
That's, this isn't lot
Eliminated.
47. This bold references
this area here.
Yeah.
which we don't know where that line was. We're not really
Well,
sure.
It's this.
Okay, is now combined with.
Yeah. It's just clearing up the title, actually, for this particular
What
area.
I-
So it's all being combined into that lot there.
What I,
And then this lot is gaining,
This lot right here is gaining this.
The gravel
area.
drive.
Yeah, yeah, because this was the former lot line of this parcel. I mean, if I could just say, Mr. Chairman, they're not creating any new lots, they're not changing any front lot lines.
Understood.
They're just adjusting interior lot lines. And they own both properties, so they're just adjusting things and getting property ready for conveyance. That being 36 hours.
the only inconsistency in what is not clear, and I think what I'm picking up on, what Harry's talking about, I think what's not clear though, John, is when you look at this plan, it's very clear, lot 46 is very clear. Boundaries are very clearly drawn, and the boundaries are all labeled. When you look at lot 47 and lot 48, on the one hand, the note that's associated with lot 48 clearly says parcels 1 and 2 are combined. Yet then the note above indicates parcel 1 as a separate entity. And so the note's implying it's separate, lot 1 is separate, but the note that's associated with parcel 1, with lot 48, is implying that they're together. I don't know if that's what you were talking about.
And it's not as clear as it could be, but I'm sure it's.
A lot of times, these are much harder to explain, especially if we're the ones doing the explaining. The applicant isn't here, the surveyor isn't here. They did put together a very thorough project narrative explaining it, and
I think we have different opinions on what thorough
you know,
is.
When I have to spend an hour trying to figure it out, they're just throwing it on my lap.
I think we have different opinion on what thorough is.
It isn't an easy plan to interpret, but.
I mean, it
Right. No problem.
Yeah.
You got
takes a
3
while
votes. It only takes 3.
To convince you guys within, a 5-minute discussion, when it took me an hour to figure it all out.
I was looking at it for quite a while Sunday.
And, when they submit it, it's like, you don't know what is on this plan? What's wrong with you? You know?
Well, for my opinion, I think they ought to be here, and we ought to
Right.
just continue it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's an A&R. You can't continue it.
I know, because
You
then
can only deny it.
we can get it.
Better off deny it. You continue INRs.
Yeah, and then they get a constructive approval.
Just
It's over
just
the
so we
21
don't get
That's
off
way over the 21 days
kilt
already.
here. As I said, they're not changing any front
Way over.
lot lines.
No, nothing, they are not changing anything in the total outside boundary, which is owned by one person, still is owned by one person, and it is clearly an internal boundary lot line adjustment. The plan is just not clear, and I don't want to set up the assessor's office with the possibility of having a lot disappear that shouldn't disappear, or a lot has appeared that shouldn't have appeared in terms of lot number 47.
Kinda curious what they're gonna call it.
It should, what it should be is, this should be like, if lot 47 is now combined altogether with lot 48, that note up top should say something like, previously lot 47. And then, the note down below, which says parcels 1 and 2 are combined, this should then say lot 48, so then this whole thing becomes 48, 47 goes away.
Bingo.
But,
Bingo.
Why aren't they here?
The property owners are on vacation, and this is a little convoluted. The surveyor, the company that did this, was bought out by another company. The surveyor, who is no longer working for the new company, he had a conflict tonight, so he tried to get here, but he couldn't.
That makes
I'm just-
Mr. Dixon that stamped it?
Yeah.
Mr. Dixon.
I'm of the opinion, I mean, it is, just a lot line adjustment, but, I think there's an inconsistency in this drawing that I'm not comfortable with it, John. And if we can't continue it, then I just assume deny it for, what I'm calling an inconsistency in the drawing. But that's me, I don't know how.
I'll second that as well. I don't know how you wanna do it, but.
I mean, so there's no mechanism to just say, come back next time and you can explain this to us?
I'd prefer.
Sure we can.
I'd prefer.
But he
to-
has every right in the world after 21 days to just bring it down to the curb and get it.
I mean,
do it, it's done.
did I, so this Form H executed through September 30th doesn't apply?
You can't do a Form H for an A and R. Under what authority are we allowed to do a Form H? I'm sorry, I don't know of that. I could be wrong, but
It was
I know.
listed in the planner's comments, so I figured it was relevant.
I thought we had done A&R that continues, that's new to me.
yeah, and we got a constructive approval when it was
No,
brought to
that,
the
we
town
never
clerk.
got that one, that we got that.
That one happened
We never had it.
down at, where was that, Pingree?
Well, let's,
Road,
can we do,
not
can
Pingree
we,
Farm
can we
Road,
do
but
this,
Pingree Road.
can we do this, can we, can we vote, and, if the board votes to deny this, also as part of this project, just confirm on the checklist of things to do, John, the issue of, A and Rs, and if you can continue them or not. Can you verify that?
Well,
Not
from the,
now, but
from the
later.
date of submission, there is a 21-day period of time, unless it's agreed upon by the applicant, so it's planning board, yeah. And they're not here this evening.
So I can combine, because A, they're not here to explain it, and B, I would say the drawing is not clear, and C, the drawing appears to be inconsistent. Those are three pretty good reasons, I think, for the board to deny it and have them come back.
I do have a letter of extension in here.
Did they already
Unless
sign
they're
that?
really thinking ahead.
Did they sign it?
Yes, they already did, September 30th, so we can,
Yeah, let's do that. No?
So,
I wasn't really
We've
anticipating
been
it
through
happening,
this.
but
well, Harry, I mean, you're smiling, but you obviously have some history with this that the rest of us are either not aware of or have forgotten.
Planning board at a certain point had an A&R plan. We were looking for more information so that we would not have to deny it. The applicant's attorney came in, the applicant explained to us that they would bring us more information at the continuation. When the continuation came, they just simply explained to us that we're over the 21 days and we're bringing this, we already brought this to the town clerk. The town clerk, because it was greater than 21 days, is under Mass General Law, is required to endorse it. Done.
Well, if that's the case, then there's no ability to reschedule it, to ask for an extension. We've already passed 21 days anyway, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't matter what we do, well, it doesn't matter what we do tonight, of course, but.
This is
So I-
already 21 days today?
No, it will be.
Today.
No,
Has been, right? From
yeah,
August 1st
we
to-
do have an extension request up through September 30th. We have that.
No, the question that they're asking is, we haven't already gone past the 21 days, have we?
No, because we have the extension request. This was going to be on a previous meeting, but they couldn't make it.
I'm sorry, you and Harry are saying are talking again across each other, and I'm sorry, but I just have to make sure that the two of you are on the same page. You talk about the extension, Harry says the extensions aren't valid in A and Rs.
To my knowledge, there is no
Harry,
mechanism
you know
to
what,
extend.
Harry, now that it's coming back to me, I have to take a while.
Yeah.
I remember that now, because when we finally had the hearing
Mhm.
for that A&R, we
Continuation.
were already late. And if we had approved it, there wouldn't have been any problem. But because the way we were talking, we weren't gonna go for it. And I got that opinion from the other members as well. We extended it, he agreed to it while he was there,
Of course, I would too.
and then he figured, you
'Cause I got
know,
it.
I'm gonna go the other route
Next
because it
morning, I
didn't
walk
look
in the
like we
town
were
clerk and
gonna
I have it.
support
Yeah.
it.
I don't,
So there's a little glitch right there for what you're saying.
yeah, it's just the, it's just that it's a 21-day clock.
We're not
tick,
doing,
tick clock.
you know what, though, we're not doing anything. The surveyor is a professional surveyor. He's professionally responsible for what he put down on paper and what is planned to be recorded as new lot lines for these lots. That's all.
Absolutely.
If there is an issue of error, right, he can come back in with a new plan. We shouldn't be full of consternation about approving or not approving this. He's professionally responsible for what he put on paper as being accurate, giving clear title for the future conveyance of properties involving this. If there becomes an error, there's a cloud through his work, it can be corrected through another survey, another plan that would come before the planning board. So, We do have a Form H, granting an extension voluntarily. Nobody's putting a gun to their head, but voluntarily granting an extension for this planning board to take action on this plan up to and including September 30th of this year. We have another meeting on the 27th, so we can defer date specific, further review of this plan until the 27th meeting.
I guess, Harry, the point is if you're right and John's wrong, it doesn't matter, because we've already missed our 21 days, right?
We have to act tonight. I would act tonight,
Yeah,
is
today or
what I
never.
would do, but, I
It's-
mean,
It's,
you may-
it's truly not a matter that we're approving a 5-lot subdivision.
I understand.
Yeah, all we're doing is adjusting lot lines between two lots that are owned by the same party.
don't get me wrong, John. I mean, Mr. Dixon has every right to his opinion. And that's what it comes down to in Lane Court, it's an opinion of an expert. But when I put my signature on it, I like to have comfort with it. And
It's-
I'm not comfortable with endorsing that plan. That's all.
It's not a good thing that they're not here, but it was unavoidable.
So, you know, I am okay, I will support the board either in rejecting this as is or continuing. I'll support either way you wanna go.
What's the filing fee?
Filing fee for this, at $140.
$140?
Mhm.
So they can let them refile it.
If you wanna waive
I'll
the
vote to
filing
waive
fee,
it.
waive the
I'll vote to
filing
waive
fee.
it if they did, yeah, because it's just, if this was done,
I mean, they should be here.
Usually we-
They
yeah.
should be here, and I guess, I guess what I'm hearing the board saying is the board is not 100% comfortable or clear with this issue of we can or cannot continue an A&R. And that needs to be put on, a list of to-dos to verify, John.
Yeah.
So that will.
Can I try the motion and see if it
Yeah,
satisfies?
go ahead.
I move to deny the A&R/LLA plan application for 36R and 64 Elm Street, and further move to waive the application fee for the applicant to resubmit the plan and appear at the scheduled planning board meeting.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
So a motion has been made and it's been seconded to deny the lot line adjustment plan for Paul and Mary Jansen, prepared by the DGT Survey Group North Shore. And further to waive any future refiling fees for same project at the next meeting, at the next scheduled meeting.
And encourage I think I said encourage the applicant to appear
Well,
for the,
So,
yeah.
discussion? Anyone else have any discussion?
It really helps when the applicants, if the applicant has representatives there, especially the guy that drew the plan. That helps, that really helps.
I would agree, and so I think, you know, the reasons of, not in order of importance, but the reasons of the applicants not here to explain the plan. The plan is confusing to the board. There does appear to be inconsistencies, even though it's a lot line adjustment plan. Those are the reasons why, and the board just needs to get this explained and clarified. So, that's why we're doing what we're doing, those are the reasons why.
Mr. Chairman?
Any more discussion?
I don't know if it's discussion, but it might be helpful if the assessor lets us know how they would change this. Is
Well,
that
that's-
gonna be 47, is it gonna be 48 now?
Well-
Which one's disappearing?
Well, I mean, I think.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just
I
another
think-
discussion.
But I think that's up.
That way the
I-
applicant knows and can put it right on there, that's what I'm saying.
I agree, I mean,
Yeah.
as part of this discussion though, but
Sure,
that's
that's,
a-
yes,
after.
my apologies.
Yeah, no problem. So, any more discussion on that motion? Seeing no more discussion on the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4 yes, 1 absent. And, John, if you could notify the applicant that they should coordinate with the assessor's office in terms of sort of a sign off that the assessor is comfortable with how they're gonna number this lot, how they're gonna number this new lot, considering they're combining the two lots. Does it become, what I've seen is it becomes lot map 10B lots 47 and 48. They just get put, the numbers get put together. They're not separate
that.
like that. As long as they're,
Yeah.
as long as it's just one property line going around, so, anyways, but that coordination with the assessor's office, I think, would be good for the town. Okay, moving on. Let's see. So we have, the next agenda item is the public hearing, for Bailey Lane, and looking for a motion just to open for purposes only of rescheduling to the next available meeting.
Well,
So I need a
Go ahead,
motion.
go ahead, go ahead, I'll second you.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to open the public hearing for Sims Development Bailey Lane, OSRD, for the sole purposes of rescheduling, to the next available meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
4 yes, 1 absent, and as far as the next available meeting is the 27th.
Oh, okay, the next available meeting.
But,
Oh,
and
okay.
and FYI, we're doing that because of
We have an extension up to September
The
30th.
30th?
30th, so we're gonna schedule it for 27th, and we're gonna have to deal with it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to extend the OSRD Bailey Lane special permit to 9/27/17 at 7:15.
You said
I'm sorry.
extend, I think you meant continue. right?
Continue, my apologies,
Continue.
continue.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to continue the public hearing for Bailey Lane to the September 27th, 2017 planning board meeting. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
FYI, just for the record, according to Bob's email to me this morning, it doesn't appear that he will be present in 2 weeks, as he's gonna be out on work for that one also. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. That's just FYI for everybody.
He'll need to be here anyway.
Huh?
He'll need to be here anyway, right?
He does,
He won't be here, but Symes will need to be here.
well, signs I'm assuming is gonna say, we'll go to the next meeting.
Might get a Form
We need a
H
Form H.
before that.
Yeah.
That may be done in
Right.
the office, right?
Right.
Put them out to December.
Okay. And the last item on the agenda for tonight, you all are still sitting here? Last item on the agenda tonight is the planning office workshop discussion item, Article 7, open space residential development. John? Do you guys wanna say something?
Mr. Chairman?
This is Heather Road.
I feel like we're holding you up for some particular
What happened to
reason.
this one?
What, did I miss one?
Heather Road.
Yeah. But
Where did it go?
right here.
My bad, my bad. Thank you, thank you. All right, new business. Need a,
Oh, Mr. Chairman, motion to open the, do we need to accept first, John? Are we
Yes,
accepting the
please.
application?
Yep,
Motion to
yep.
accept the application for Heather Road 1 and 2, Heather Road. And this is a, I believe, a definitive subdivision?
That's how they applied.
Okay.
Second.
motion has been made and it's been seconded to accept the application for 1 and 2 Heather Road definitive subdivision plan, subdivision application. Any discussion? Any discussion, all in favor? Aye. 4 yes, 1 absent. So, John, if you just give us an overview, and then we'll go to the applicant, and then we'll go to the public, and then we'll bring it back to the.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to make a motion to open the public hearing?
Oh, yep.
I make a motion to open the public hearing for Heather Road.
Second.
Well, just
Nope.
cross all the Ts, dot all the
Important,
Is.
important. Glad someone's paying attention tonight. Motion has been made and it's been seconded to open the public hearing for 1 and 2 Heather Road. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, John,
Okay,
applicant, public?
This is another not so easy to understand plan, but I think I have it down. This application is to consider establishing the boundaries of the private road known as Heather Road within the borders of 1 and 2 Heather Road, shown on the town assessors map 6C as lot 74. And 2, subdividing said lot 74 into 2 separate lots, that is, lot 74A, to have an existing single-family dwelling.
Excuse me, could you speak up a little, please? We can't hear you back here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. To have an existing single-family dwelling, that's lot 74A, that's the 6.6 acre parcel, proposed parcel, and to have 420 feet of frontage along Heather Road. And then you have a second lot proposed, lot 74B, which also has an existing single-family dwelling on it, and that lot would consist of 0.86 acres, roughly 27,000 square feet. The minimum lot size for this zoning district is 15,000 and 125 feet of frontage. And this second lot, having 0.86 acres, would have 320 feet of frontage approximately on Heather Roadway. And if anybody have any questions of me, I can help answer those.
Do we have a copy of the, I'm sorry, if I may, do we have a copy of the public notice?
Public notice for this is,
Did I lose it?
here it is. Do you want me to read it, or?
That's usually what we open the hearing with.
Oh,
It's usually what we read when we open the public hearing.
want me to do that?
Sure. Get it on the record. you know.
Public hearing notice. In accordance with the provisions of section 365-4, waiver of compliance of the subdivision regulations, the Georgetown Planning Board will hold a public hearing on September 13, 2017 at 7 p.m. in the third floor conference room at Georgetown Memorial Town Hall, 1 Library Street, to establish as a private way that portion of Heather Road, in parentheses, a private road right-of-way of variable width, end of parentheses, located within the borders of 1 and 2 Heather Road, shown on the town assessors map 6C as lot 74. The subject application also calls for the subdivision of said lot 74 into 2 separate lots. Lot 74A having an existing single-family dwelling, and for this lot to consist of 6.6 acres and approximately 420 feet of frontage along Heather Road. And lot 74B also having an existing single-family dwelling to consist of 0.86 acres and 320 feet of frontage along Heather Road. The above cited application and plan can be reviewed at the Georgetown Planning Board office Monday through Thursday between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Any person interested or wishing to be heard regarding the application should appear at the time and place designated.
For the record, my name's Bob Grasso from Engineering Land Services. I have the certificate, certified mailings to the abutters. We filed this plan on a definitive subdivision plan because it is 1 lot right now. Heather Road, at the end of Monroe Street, there's a traveled way right now, a gravel roadway which accesses all the abutting lots on Heather Road. The right of the private variable width of Heather Road actually ends at the old Maripati lot and our lot line, which is right here. The original lot is 7.79 acres, which is shown on a record plan at the Registry of Deeds. And it shows it, Heather Road ending actually right here. This is a traveled way, as of right now. People that access their lots actually technically do not have any right to do that, but through an implied easement, through land court, they can establish that through the years of traveling that way. The old travel way used to go around the garage right here and on to Monroe Street. But I believe in the 70s, Mr. Tidd owned the property over here, and he didn't want the traffic to keep going by his house, the headlights going toward his property, so he actually straightened Heather Road, extended the traveled way straight right onto Monroe Street. Currently, right now, it's one lot. There's a house, the original dwelling was built in 1925. It has its own septic system right here shown in green. And the other lot, existing dwelling, is right here shown in brown. That was built in 1975 with a building permit. And a septic design plan also. So you have two dwellings on one lot. So what we're trying to do is clarify for title issues in case one of the lots one of the houses wants to be sold, that there's no title issue, and also would benefit the people on Heather Road to create a private way so they can actually have technically legal rights to repass on Heather Road. So we're creating Heather Road, which would be a proposed right-of-way, 33 feet wide, two-rod road, consisting of 12,347 square feet. Right now, on the lot, there's an existing water line easement, which they extended up Monroe Street through up to Heather Road, so everybody is serviced by town water up there. That's the only thing that goes across our lot, is an easement right now. So what we're proposing to do is create a right-of-way that not only the town will benefit for plowing purposes, maintaining the road legally right now. We're creating a private way. Right now, there is no legal right-of-way through that lot. And we're trying to clarify, make it better for the title issues of all the abutting lots on Heather Road and on this lot.
Okay, anything else at this point?
And we're also, we're requesting construction, all the strict construction requirements of building a right-of-way. We're creating a private right-of-way. In other words, we ask for all the waivers for curbing, pavement. We're just gonna keep it the existing gravelled way. We're not proposing any improvements. All we're doing is creating a private way. A legal private way.
Okay, anything else? So I'd like to go to the public now, and if you could introduce yourself for the record, and then whatever questions you may have or points you'd like to make, if you could direct them to the chair, that would be great.
Hi, guys. My name's Robert Kelly. I live at 20 Cedar Lane. I have a couple questions.
Sure. Direct them
Mr. Hoover, why is 20 Cedar Lane concerned about a street over there? I mean, that's one of my questions, is I seem pretty far away, and it's an easement that I gotta notice, trying to figure that out. The other question, two questions I have for you, Mr. Hoover, is you said a minute ago that we have legal right-of-way because of the years of using it, but then you commented we don't have legal way. Which one is it? Do the people that are driving on the road, are they breaking the law right now, or are they not breaking the law? And if they're not breaking the law, why do we need to do this? The other question is, the town is now part of Safe Sidewalks Initiative, is that we're spending a lot of money up by Pearlie to put curbs in, that any new street has to have a curb and a sidewalk. why should we allow a new street? I understand old streets didn't have this initiative. If they're gonna put it in, I hope that the planning board's saying, hey, we did it over Pearlie, we should do it over at this street. So, no, hey, it's gravel road, town has to plow it, once it gets passed, you should spend all the money, whoever wants to do it, fix it right, and if they need the street, it's the right thing to do. If it's a legal situation, we should fix it, but if there's no legal reason to do it, why are we doing it?
As far as Cedar Lane is concerned, and being notified,
300-foot of butters.
they're within the 300 feet. So I guess you fell within the 300 feet?
Oh, wow. Seems pretty far for 300 feet.
Well, it's a big lot. It's
Another question.
it's almost 8 acres, so it
Is
has
the
a
honest
lot of
question-
abutting. It's 300 feet from any abutting lot.
I don't know if I can ask this, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Is the reason is that you need the legal easement to then break up the lots to build houses?
No,
Yes.
No, then, great, that's all, if the,
I'm not even putting a new wall.
Let's.
no, but, you know, I built my house, I don't want, you know, fair's fair. But you know, and if people wanna build a house, I was lucky enough to build in Georgetown. So I don't wanna step on anybody unless there's something wrong, you know, some reason not to do it. But I don't wanna be said, hey, I'm doing a road to really do a house, don't blow smoke. Just tell me the truth, lay it out now, and hey, good for you, you should be allowed to build a house. But don't keep on, that's the only thing I ask,
Okay,
so.
thank you. Anyone else? Do you want to respond to,
Well, the reason why we're doing this is to create, to actually create a right-of-way, a private right-of-way, which the town will, you know, maintains, or they won't own, we're not proposing any improvements, we're putting a right-of-way, private way, so they would legally have rights to Monroe Street. Right now, it's a traveled way. They don't have any right to do it, but through land court, it's called an implied easement, because through over 20 years, it's something like adverse possession, there's so many issues, you know. They technically do have a right to do that, but you'd have to go through land court to do that. What we're doing is, we're trying to make everything legal, for all the abutting lots and to make this conforming. And well, they built that in '75 with a building permit. That was the original house. We're trying to make everything, this meets zoning, that meets zoning, has frontage, has area, everything. We're just trying to make everything legal.
understand? Anyone else, and then we'll bring it to the
Can
board.
I ask the question again? You keep on saying make it legal, but 2 sentences before you said it is
Yeah, if you
legal.
go through land court, you can get an
So it's
implied
legal,
easement.
so the town has the right to the line.
I
I
think,
don't understand that.
well, I think what he said is that right now, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, right now, technically, legally, they would have to go through land court if they wanna make it legal. So right now, they're doing it, and I don't know what you call that, it's not legal, it's not illegal, but they have every right to continue using it based on 20 years or however that law is written. So what they're doing is legal. And then if they wanna harden it, they go to land court.
Well, we're just trying to clear up everybody's title also.
Legally, they could put a no trespassing sign there and
Yeah.
say, no more cars go through.
Okay.
And then you would come in, or
And go through.
whoever,
I wouldn't, but-
would go to land court and say, you can't do this, and the
Mm.
land court would, based
Right.
on, I'm not making a legal opinion
No,
here,
I
but
understand that.
the land court would probably say, well, that you've lost that right to do that, because it's happened for so many years, and they haven't applied the easement. But this whole thing, what he's saying is that this whole thing would have to go through court to work that whole thing all the way through. So it's neither legal nor illegal, it's probably legal, but then would have to be going through court to ultimately pull it out.
Can I ask another question? Does the town plow that small part of the road right now?
Yeah, they plow it all the way to the end of Heather Road. I mean, that's the only access to all the abutting. His house is all the way down Heather Road.
So the town, another question, so the town should really pay these people because they've been using their land for a long time. You know, a fair thing would do is, hey, we've been using it, we should give them something for it, you know, but
My my question would be, why
Okay,
are we plowing it?
okay, what I wanna do
The
is.
safety issues, for fire and safety issues, that's why they're plowing it. In case they pay taxes, there's a fire down there, that's why they plow it.
So since you
Fire
asked
and
the first,
safety.
since you asked the first question from the board, Harry.
Absolutely, my apologies. Mr.
No,
Chairman, I didn't mean to
no
throw
problem,
that on the
just
board.
go ahead and start with what questions you
I-
may
I-
have, and then we'll go around the board.
Just clarifications of a couple of things, that from where it begins on Monroe,
Yeah, right here,
to until it hits the water on the other end off the plan,
yeah, all right.
that's a private way.
That's a private way that exists right up to the old Party, which is owned by Grasso, not me, but Marie Grasso, no relationship. There's houses built
Yep.
all along at the end of Heather Road.
Yeah, I pulled
Yeah.
up the map.
Yeah.
The only other thing would be, well, I was gonna ask, does the town plow? And I guess it does.
Yeah, it does.
Also grades.
Hmm.
Also has a
But-
water line in.
Does not spend any more than $500 per year. And, I'd like to make a motion for a sidewalk, Mr. Chairman, and we're gonna be, turning this into, evidently from everything I'm reading, we're being asked to turn this into an approved subdivision roadway under the subdivision control law of Massachusetts and the town. And we are just being asked to waive every regulation that we have. So I'd like to see it.
So that's fine, let's put that off, if you would, till we go through all the board members and finish with whatever questions we may have.
Hold the sidewalk
Yeah.
motion. I'll pull that back.
Any other questions from you, Harry?
Yeah, I have some. Oh, you
Some
do?
might come up.
Well, I'd like to see a lawyer opinion, your lawyer, of stating what you just repeated, okay? I wanna see that in writing.
What would you
because
like to see in writing? Applied
what you
easement?
just said about the court and it's not legal and.
Well, right now, it's a traveled way, this is their lot.
Yeah, but
It's
that's,
a traveled way, there does not exist a private way through their lot.
yeah.
They're just letting them pass through their
Well,
lot.
that's a misconception, I've never heard that. And, we've got other private ways.
I just wanted to, for the record, just, submit this to you, I just wanted to show you the original plot.
Yeah,
It shows traveled way, it doesn't say right of way, and it shows at the end of Heather Road,
Yeah.
that right of way exists.
okay,
Right here.
can you do that? Can you get a legal opinion
That
paper?
that would be up to the owner, would you hire a lawyer for that?
Anything to get out of here.
Okay.
Because there's other private ways in town, as you know.
Mm.
And people can use those as if they were public. They are public in a sense.
Yes,
So there's no way of putting up a chain or a gate on this area to prevent anybody else from using it. It's called a public way. So, in the research from everybody else on there, on Heather Road, has done an A&R.
Mhm.
Because.
on that private way, yeah, because that exists.
Right, that does too.
This does not exist.
It does.
No, it does not.
We have it on our
I'm trying to
official-
create one.
We have one that area is on the town's official map. It's legal.
Dashed, it's a dashed line.
Excuse me, it's legal, it's in my opinion, but I'd like to see what,
Well, if you're an attorney,
Back up
I
what
believe you.
you're saying.
Okay.
always open to new interpretations. But I will not approve throwing out all the subdivision regs for a project anywhere.
This is for the benefit
I
of also the
understand.
town and for all the abutting lots on Heather Road.
They
This
have
is-
a benefit now.
This is a benefit.
They have a benefit now, and they will have a
Actually, they have a
benefit
cloud on
from
their
100
title.
years from now.
They have a cloud on their
There's
title right
no
now.
change in that, in my opinion, from what I have gathered. And I've gotten all kinds of information from the fellow that was doing the A&Rs down the end of the road.
Mhm.
He brought in several deeds, and in fact, one of the deeds, the old deeds, said there's a permanent easement there for access and utilities, 20 feet.
Yeah, down here.
No, right there on
There,
Heather,
it does not exist.
well,
Look at the plan right in front of you, it says traveled way.
I think you've been very clear where you say it doesn't exist and this planning board member has a different opinion, so let's just accept those two opinions.
Okay.
Agree to
All right,
disagree.
well, I'm just showing you what's on record at the registry of deeds. There is no private way on their lot. It's one lot right now, 7.79 acres. There's two
the
dwellings
official
on one lot.
town map is registered.
Okay,
Yes.
we're not gonna resolve this issue tonight by going back
Yeah.
and forth, so can we move on to the next one? Your question?
Well, you admitted that there were two houses on one lot.
Exactly.
That's a special permit. Do you have that?
This house was originally built in 1925.
Right.
And they applied for a building permit in 1975, which he does have in hand right now,
Right.
to build another dwelling. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. I
Right.
wasn't there.
Yeah. But that's a special permit, so there's a legal problem there. Because
In
there should be-
75, that's 25, that's.
We had zoning back then. In fact, 73, we did a heck of a lot of zoning.
So then they shouldn't have issued a building permit then, 1975.
Perhaps, I don't know, but we've had a special permit requirement.
And they also had a septic design approved by the Board of Health.
There's a 30-day appeal period from the issuance of a building permit, and
I
after
think
the
we're,
appeal period is
I think
over.
we're out of that period.
We have a 10-year for structures.
It's 7 and 10. 7
Wow.
with a permit and 10 without a permit.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, whether it's 7, 10, 20. I mean,
right,
I just wanna know who signed off.
I don't
Who's the
know.
building inspector?
yeah.
I
we
got
would-
She has the, do you have that? She has the building permit right there.
I'm not, you can give us that name later, okay?
Sure,
That's
sure,
just
sure.
not important.
So the only.
Well, he asked for it.
I
My
understand.
apologies,
I
but it's
understand.
just the historian in me.
I understand.
So the only, as I was reading all the write-up that you did, the applicant is doing this for the neighbors?
No, in case one of the, say he wants to sell his house, then there will be no title issue. We're creating 2 lots.
Neither one of those houses have frontage evidently, right? Am I correct? They don't have frontage.
Actually, his address is 34 Monroe Street, and this is 1 Heather Road. I guess they're getting frontage off of this. And they also have frontage off of Monroe Street also, but they call it 1 Heather Road.
It's just.
But Heather Road, and on their lot does not
Yeah,
exist.
really.
Does not exist. Does not exist.
Any other questions, Tilly, for now?
No, I'll be very happy with the lawyer's write-up.
Okay, to the lawyers write-up, I just wanna play that one out versus having the applicant spend more money on an attorney too. Their attorney is gonna write probably pretty much what he said or something similar to that. Will you accept that on face value, or are you gonna say, no, I wanna have our counsel review that?
Yes.
So if that's the case, instead of having their attorney write it up, can the applicant's surveyor write that up?
I'm a registered Massachusetts land surveyor.
Perfect. So you've got your professional stamp, you.
That's my stamp right there.
I know it is. You're authorized to make those kinds of statements. Can you do that on your letterhead?
That would be a legal issue. I would have an attorney write that.
Okay, you're not comfortable with that? Okay, that's up to you. I was trying to help the applicant with that particular issue. Matt?
So I want to start out by saying I have nothing but sympathy for the applicant. I understand exactly what the applicant is thinking here. This is why it exists, this is why it's always existed, just trying to clean it up.
Clear, exactly.
You know, that's not how any of these things ever go though. I mean, so this is, I don't think you're gonna get sympathy from this board to do this without cleaning up this road in some way. Am I speaking for the, I mean, any comments on that from anybody else or?
I can just make a comment.
Yeah.
The applicant is trying to clear up a problem, and they have every right to do what they're asking to do.
Yes.
I mean, they have a plot of land. That plot of land, they're laying something out here. They can say, just like any other applicant would say, I want a road, and they get a road.
My
What we
question
waive
is,
on it
why
is
did
our
they
business.
do an A&R?
because they can't, there's no road there to do an A&R on.
Yeah, but that's not, can I? sorry.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
please.
because Tilly, we conversed about this leading up to the meeting, and I wanna ask the applicant, could you not have submitted this as an A&R?
No, you cannot.
Now, why?
Because we're creating frontage,
No, no.
and that falls under
No,
the definitive
no,
subdivision plan.
Under 81L,
Yeah.
that way, whether you wanna just call it a right-of-way, a travel way, it's not an established bordered
Mm.
right-of-way as.
Private way, public way, still has to go
But-
under subdivision
But
control.
within 81L,
Mm.
approval not required,
Mm.
the law does provide for these older access ways that have been providing access, sufficient access for the subject lots, and in this case, beyond that.
Mm.
The town, you know, basically, it's a roadway that is, it's a
Traveled way.
it's a traveled way, but it's a non-publicly accepted, publicly maintained way. And it has been like that, and it has had that status for over 50 years. The town has issued multiple building permits along that private way going.
Up here, yes. Which is,
Going back.
which is on record as a private
So
variable
under
width way.
80 Under 81L, you can submit an application for approval not required. This is, you know, my non-legal opinion, but based on many years of practicing planning, you could create those lots separate. I know both of them exist. One has a 99-year lease that's a subordinate lease to the larger lot. But you could, with an A&R submission, you could apply for both of those lots to be legally established permanently as their own separate lots with that existing travel way being, and it have to be considered by the board as a roadway sufficient to meet the standards of 81L, and it absolutely does. So they could have come in, and they can come in under approval not required. They chose to come in with a definitive subdivision application, and you probably didn't even give it any thought to come in under 81L. And that you're asking for a waiver of strict compliance because you want to be able to do what you want to do without providing any improvements. And you want this board to go along with that.
Well-
This board has the prerogative to possibly not go along with it the way you've applied for.
Well, under an A&R lot, there's a statement that I signed saying that I am not creating any new right-of-way, that the frontage in the area exist on a private or public way.
Right.
So right now, there is no private or public way. So I cannot file an A&R plan. I have to go through a definitive subdivision plan to create a private way, to create frontage in order to make these lots.
I disagree.
Well, I mean, there are court cases whereby 12 foot by 12 foot,
Yeah.
if it's 12 foot in width, 12 foot in height clearance,
Mm.
then that's a sufficient way in which to, you know,
Mm.
submit an A&R plan. And
I guess you said it a lot more artfully than I think I was saying it, but just to consider something like this with waiving of, to do with that many waivers, I would be very hard pressed to.
if the board wanted to, though, in preparation for tonight, as with every meeting, going over things with the chairman, if you read through the motions and what the motion does make reference to, it's a certificate. And it's exclusive to what they're doing. It doesn't allow them to further subdivide. It doesn't allow them to do anything other than what they're applying for. And that's to create two separate lots, of which each one already has an existing dwelling. And they are formalizing the area, the borders of this right-of-way within their property. That's all they're doing. They're not asking for anything more than just to clear up the title. You have a lot that's subordinate. It's a 99-year lease that's subordinate to the larger lot. They're trying to create separate lot status, clear up the title, give freedom to one party to be able to freely sell his property without the encumbrance of a 99-year lease. That's really what they're doing. They're just cleaning things up and also creating this bordered right-of-way, which will benefit the town. It will benefit the existing abutters that have access rights over it. And that's spelled out in the certificate, which allows for the waiving of strict compliance. Nobody's pulling anything over on anybody. They're just trying to clean things up. And they cannot do anything more further development-wise to this property without coming back before this planning board for either an OSRD, another lot being carved out. They'd have to come back. This plan is only providing the applicant with the right to do what's shown on the plan. And they're not proposing any improvements to the roadway. The town maintains that roadway, right or wrong. They've done it for 50 years,
So,
and that's the way it is.
so what I'd like to add is, this project actually reminds me, Matt, of, you know, similar to arguments you've made in the past about an existing condition long ago these people had nothing to do with, and right now they're just trying to clean this up. And when I first started to review this and started to get comfortable with it, I was comfortable with everything about it except this notion of, am I missing something? Is something being, which is a sad place to be coming from, but I guess it's the nature of the beast, where you're always looking over your shoulder. Is there something here that's coming out of this for them that we're not aware of that's gonna hurt the town or the public? And so when I was talking to John about that, and I just wanna read into the public's record, because you don't have privy to this, it's not a long statement, but it's called a Certificate of Approval of a Definitive Plan. And it's a legal document that goes along with this approval, if there were an approval. And the first part of it is just, you know, plan of land, date submitted by, blah, 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 blah. But then it gets down to this paragraph that says rules and regulations, comma, relative to the aforementioned definitive subdivision plan, not including right-of-way improvements, nor the creation of new undeveloped lots. Also, approval of said plan benefits the town and those private parties have the right to pass and repass over the private road known as Heather Road, for the boundaries of said road shall be permanently established outside of privately owned land, which in turn provides the town and said parties with the opportunity to maintain and improve existing utilities within the borders of the subject right-of-way, and as well as maintain its travel surface. And it's not including new right-of-way improvements, not including new undeveloped lots. I think what that's saying is that it just is what it is, and it's nothing more than that. And so on that sense, I understand it, I get it. The part of this waiving the town's subdivision regulations, just carte blanche, if they can't do anything to develop the lots any further, they're not impacting that road anymore. It is what it is. It's been functioning. Would it be nice to get it improved? Of course it would. But those two houses have been existing since
25 and 75.
1970. And it just seems like a tough time now to be saying these people are gonna have to improve this road some way. So then I start to say, well, maybe it is okay to waive the subdivision standards. So, that's sort of my, that's my take on it, but I'm just one board member, and we're missing Bob Watts tonight also. So, yeah, please.
Yeah,
John.
This is a 6.5 acre site. The minimum lot size is 15,000 in the future, right? So this could ultimately turn into a Bailey Lane situation, whereby this planning board is entertaining Bailey Lane with pretty significant improvements that are the responsibility of the applicant. It's further impacting the development density of that
Correct.
particular area.
Right.
So when and if that ever happens for this property, that's what they're going to be subject to, whoever the parties are, whether they're the present owners or future owners.
Not if they A&R it.
If they waive everything.
A&R it, you'll get 3 lots out
Oh,
of
no,
that
no,
A&R
no,
claim,
no, no,
just
no,
like
no,
that.
no, that's not true. If a roadway is determined by this planning board to be of substandard for the proposed use, you can require the property owner, the developer, to improve those existing ways in order to serve the new development requirements. So you can go beyond the borders of this Heather Road, you can go out to Monroe and make them widen it and improve it. You know, if there are any type of site distance improvements, widening improvements for safety purposes, you can do that. But that's sometime in the future, if it does happen. What they're only doing here is just creating separate lot status, basically, and providing a permanent right-of-way of which everybody that passes and repasses will never have to worry in the future of anybody trying to block them and having to go to court to, you know, to create that access, you know, to establish that legal access. Because it doesn't exist now. It will with this plan.
Harry-
Something that they won't have to worry about in the future.
Your question about they can A&R 2 lots and get another lot out of that? You think-
No, I'm not, pardon me, I'm sorry, I should have said that off. But my understanding is that if we were to approve this, that's an approval under subdivision control. That automatically updates the official town map, naturally, as every subdivision would do. At that point, now, those 2 lots are separate, naturally. At that point, there is adequate frontage here, because it isn't approved and it's on the town map. Now, I see 3 map, 3 there with adequate frontage, and it's adequate, it has to be adequate. We approved it as a subdivision roadway. It is de facto adequate.
Can you
And
explain
then-
what you mean by you see 3 there?
Yes, we can't measure it, but Bob probably could measure it.
Total frontage is right here, Harry.
Yeah,
What
It's,
do you mean, you see?
You'll
416.
Yeah, you'd be able to get carve 3 out of that one,
on this side.
and at least 2 more out of the
There's a
next
note on
one.
the plan
Yeah.
that states the planning board's endorsement of the plan as requiring approval under the subdivision control law does not give lots or parcels any standing under the zoning of the town of Georgetown, nor any standing for determination under the Conservation Commission or the Board of Health requirements.
Right.
So that note states that you cannot further subdivide just by virtue of what's shown in this plan into other lots without having to come back before this planning board, without getting a determination from the building inspector.
So that's further subdividing and a bigger project, and I wanna go back to just understanding, because I'm still not,
Yeah, the next
Harry's
step.
A&R,
Yeah.
that this could set up an A&R where we have no recourse, where then we are increasing the density to an existing road condition that may not be adequate. I still don't know, you're saying just the big lot, you would A&R that and get 2 lots out of it?
And then you'd move further down the street, and now we can get cut into 2, very easily.
You would move
I
further
look at it,
down the
yes,
street,
we'll
so
go
there's-
further down there, though. That would allow for the Grasso lot to be cut. Grasso on both sides of that. But don't take this the wrong way, Mr. Chairman, I don't want this to
No, I'm just
sound
trying to
the wrong
understand.
way. These folks have every right to develop that roadway and their land, they pay taxes. The further owners, further down the road, have every right to develop their land. My thing is this, under normal circumstances, if there wasn't a cloud on this, if this was an ancient way that wasn't all part of a lot, we would be taking this lot and we would be improving it in the way that the town could maintain it and would be done the right way. And eventually, you know, long after we're dust, this will get developed out. It's a 15,000 square feet. Come on, let's get real. It's gonna get dense. So if it's gonna get dense at some point after we're dead, make sure the roadway now is adequate to serve that. That's all I come from. That's where that's my end
But
of it.
but that's asking the existing landowner to take on the cost of someone else's future development.
Mm.
No, that's asking the existing landowner to get what they want, which is 2 parcels out of the 1 parcel that they currently have that's not really kosher. And it's a balancing act. I mean,
You totally
after
lost.
the,
You lost me too.
well, right now, my understanding is that lot 6074 is owned by, on both sides of that.
That's
It's
one
a
lot.
single lot,
Yeah,
right.
this doesn't even.
They own it, they
We
bought it.
created these lines right
They own
here.
it, they bought
It's
it.
all one lot.
At some point, they own it, they bought it.
Yeah, that was the original house, 25. They got it, I don't know how they got a permit, building
Yeah,
permit.
well, I got a couple ideas.
But they did legally, 1975 legally.
they got it.
They got it.
Yeah, and
So
it's
they
legal
built,
now.
it's legal now.
Yeah, I'll give you that, yeah. Yeah, and,
So all we're trying to do is clarify the
so.
legal issue of repass and
Right.
pass for the abutting lots
What
of
we're
Heather
trying to
Road
do.
and for the town also.
But-
Well,
For the
and
town.
for your owners, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I understand it.
And that's
So
what
we're
doing, too.
we're not planning any future A&R lots,
Oh,
we're
we're
just
sure
trying to clarify
Right.
a title issue here. Because if Mrs. Kramer wants to move, this will have to,
Yeah, she could sell
This-
that, and then the
yeah.
next owner
yeah.
would
Can
benefit from
we-
it, but I'm of the mind that if you want a definitive roadway, you have to do a little bit better than waiving every regulation we have.
It's a private way.
Simply-
It'd be a private
Exactly.
way.
And we do all kinds of waivers. We go down a
I've seen them all.
scrunchies with,
Yeah.
gravel, yeah.
It's maintained by the town right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just don't understand why one can't approve a project like this for the current homeowners, and then if they sell and someone else wants to develop, the way John had it written, it has to come back to the board. And if the road, if increased density happens, if there's another house that's happened, then that's the opportunity for the board to say, hey, this road now needs to be corrected, and this person who just bought the land to put in another house, you're the developer, and this is your cost. I don't,
There's another side of this too. There are, multiple houses that have been issued building permits beyond this, all along the shorefront. And they probably date back to the days when, this was a cottage area for all these small ponds.
There's some new ones there now.
Right, there are, and there's also at least 3 deeded lots that meet minimum lot size requirements, and the building inspector would be very hard pressed to deny somebody a building permit, based on, past history. Now, the only way of possibly getting this road physically improved, beyond what exists today, and, those properties that exist, undeveloped properties that exist beyond this right-of-way, this proposed right-of-way, they in all likelihood would be entitled to building permits without having to improve the way.
Absolutely.
The only way to get this road actually improved would be through the further subdivision of this property, if and when it ever happens. Likelihood of it happening in the future, probably strong. But at that point, that's the only time this town would have the ability to impose roadway improvements upon that developer, going beyond the boundaries of this property and the proposed right-of-way. They could make them improve all the way down through Monroe as off-site improvements based on the impact, or the impact they're going to create beyond what already exists. So that's a fact.
Well, I think that there's a lot of creativity going on here. I'm not confident at all by eliminating all of our regs. That's crazy to me. But on the other hand, for like following up what you're saying, it doesn't mean that couldn't be a renovated subdivision, an improved change on the subdivision plan, and access could come in through Cedar Lane. And don't even bother with Monroe. We don't need that. We can go in another way.
Anything can happen in the future.
We
with
don't
anybody's
know.
plans.
And I think that's why I feel more comfortable with a lawyer and having our lawyer look at it to make sure we're not messing it up. I mean, right now, these people have a right to use it. I don't wanna have anything change that. We're
I'm
concerned.
giving them more rights to use it.
I hope you're right, maybe you are, but I'd like to have it verified.
John?
Yeah, I'm thinking along the lines that you may want to entertain the parties that own the property of coming back before this board, is approval not required under 81L, and forego establishing this right of way. It's not gonna
John,
help.
John, how do you answer his statement, which is you can't create frontage?
Because under 81L, it only has to be determined that, you know, the right of way, bordered or not, just has to be proven that it's providing access for the affected
Right.
properties, and it does.
It
That-
does.
That roadway is being used every day by
There's the
multiple
81L.
That's been
property
changed though. I mean, it's been changed. It used to go around the garage. This used to be the original traveled way. It used to go around the garage and up Monroe Street.
1942 USGS, what's it show?
Probably that.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
done. You're right. You're right. Hey, the other option, go with the A and R, and we
Okay.
take no action.
Yeah.
21 days.
I mean, we could also further
Saying.
put further restrictive language if anybody wants to go beyond what's being proposed here.
I don't feel confident with that. We could have a whole different kind of a board here. And they may think that, hey, let it go.
Hey, you know, the other thing is, you know, make it a subdivision roadway, and waive a lot of stuff, and put a conservation restriction on it. Doesn't mean, you don't wanna do anything with it, right? You're not gonna further subdivide it, so
Oh.
put a conservation
The
restriction on it.
Maripati did, I believe he donated it to Greenbelt, I think.
Yeah, he did.
Yes,
Yeah.
all that land.
Oh, what?
Except for
all
one,
this
I
land
think,
up in-
he had
up
one lot, I
Through
think.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
I-
He broke off one lot at the
Just-
I
end of
didn't
his
see
lot.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, but no, I'm talking about the existing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not gonna subdivide it, then put a CR on it.
So I think, I'm trying to conclude this for tonight, in that I think you get a sense of the board, you get a sense of where I am.
Hmm.
You kind of changed my mind, by the way, so, I mean, if Bob feels like you do, we might get there, but.
So Bob is not going to be here at the next meeting. He's out in California or somewhere for work, which is where he is tonight also.
Okay.
So you would not wanna do this the next meeting. If you wanna continue this as is to the meeting when you have a full board.
Full board.
Um,
And I also have a legal
and
document
you
from
have a legal document that may help.
to convince
soon-
the board that
The sooner you get
this is
that
legal.
to us, the sooner we can probably have our
Town
council
council.
take a look at it. Because as soon as you guys get attorneys writing this stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, they go back and forth.
Right.
So.
Time is money.
Been down this road before.
So perhaps, can we continue this
Yeah.
hearing? Do we need any?
Does anybody want a sidewalk, Mr. Chairman?
Well,
Anybody want a
we
sidewalk?
can do that. We can do that.
You
Let's
wanna
just
do
get a
that
date.
in the hearing, right?
Yeah,
Before we
yeah,
continue it?
yeah, in the hearing. I just wanna get a date. Just getting a date for when.
13th of October.
That would be the first meeting in October.
Okay.
We can't do the last meeting in September
13th.
because Bob's not here.
Let's check that.
Is that
I don't
Friday?
have a calendar.
I
That's
don't
Friday.
think it's the 13th, 15th is
Yeah, we're looking at
Sunday.
Is it?
Yeah.
11th of October.
11th of-
And just, just so the applicant understands, I think the board is really trying hard here. And,
We're just trying to clarify some legal
I
issues and
understand.
that they'd have clear title and they wouldn't have any clause in the title about access, because right now, like I said, they have an implied easement, but it'd have to go through land court, which costs money,
Yep.
a lot of money.
I mean, it would be very easy for the board to just deny this tonight, and I think the board is trying hard not to, and I hope the applicant understands that. And,
Did the realtor tell you to do this?
that's,
route?
No, the owner wants to clarify up some, this could be a title issue down the road if one of the houses gets sold.
So while this,
Oh, excuse me, you stated that you couldn't sell it because, was the realtor telling you that?
No,
No.
no,
Oh,
myself was telling it.
oh, you, okay.
Yeah,
All right, Bob.
so,
I've been
so
in
that
this
would-
practice for
so-
quite a
so-
few years.
So the date would be, when we get to that for a motion, the date would be what?
The 11th of October.
The 11th of October. And Harry, you wanted to have a sidewalk?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody, motion for a sidewalk,
Sure.
but if there's any support for that,
Yeah.
I don't know when,
I,
what's good for everybody, I don't know.
I don't think, is it, can we publicly walk out there if we don't live out there? Is that legal?
It's,
We're right on the street. I
well,
mean,
it's,
that's used, it's a
it's a
right of
traveled
way.
way. It's not a right of way. It's a traveled way.
Traveled way.
It's a traveled way. You'd be on actually private property technically.
So legally,
Legally.
the reason I'm
But
asking
we're,
is,
we're granting you, as the planning board, under filing of the subdivision, to do a site walk.
is that all right?
That's
Because
your
it's-
power.
Well, what I'm getting at is, I'm only speaking for myself, but it's really hard for me to set a meeting time and join these when
Okay.
everything else going on. So
Sure.
I need to go when it just
Oh.
pops up and works.
Okay,
And I need to be able to.
I'm good with that too. If it's just a blanket, open thing that we can drive down there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really good with
Is
that.
that okay?
sure, absolutely.
That's all right with
Is
you
that-
folks?
Whatever.
Okay, sure.
It is right now one of those things that certain people have the right to travel, but not everybody.
Exactly, exactly.
Not the-
But filing under the
Even though
subdivision
the town is
control law
allowed.
gives you the right to enter the property as a site visit.
Well,
Okay, so
Well,
hopefully,
all right.
hopefully,
So,
part of this.
Because we
Oh,
filed
that-
under
that
subdivision
would be
control law,
fair.
you have the right to do a site visit at any time.
So it sounds like we will be doing that, yes,
State law says we have the
between,
right.
Yeah.
between now
Court may
and
not.
the next meeting.
Okay.
So with that, you're taking a breath, did you wanna say something?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, we do have time, but I need a Form H.
Extension.
Executed through December 30th.
Okay,
All right?
sure.
Because this might take that long.
Well, so, with that, looking for a motion to continue this hearing to that date.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for the definitive subdivision for 1 and 2 Heather Road.
Actually,
to-
one.
Pardon?
Actually, one
I'm
One Heather Road. Well,
Everything
we're,
said
we're
1 and 2.
proposing 1 and 2, exactly, there's only one lot right now. It's 1 Heather Road, but we're
This is
proposing
why I
1.
like mapping lot numbers so much better, but.
Yeah,
Heather
well, I have
Road-
the map, it's,
But
Yeah,
just.
but the Heather Road.
as-
6C74.
As it's on our agenda.
Yeah.
reference it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just-
1 and 2 Heather Road.
Yep,
Continue the public hearing for 1 and 2 Heather Road, definitive subdivision approval to October 11th, 2019 at 7:20.
Motion has been made and it's been seconded to continue the public hearing for 1-2 Heather Road to October 11th, 2017. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
4 yes, 1 absent. Okay,
and the site visit.
site visit, we're gonna show up when we can.
Yeah,
And,
Property, right?
yep.
yeah, you're a planning board member, you
They
get to,
They said,
That's
the
very-
applicant said we could.
That's very convenient.
So, but I do need to double check with the applicant, because I'm looking at the applicant, and I'm seeing one shake their head yes, and I'm seeing the other shake their head no. Is that a no, we can't go?
No, that's, I'm just, yes, you do whatever you.
he's authorizing you
Okay,
to do
I
this.
just want to be clear.
Yeah. Do you want me to sign anything for that, John?
Can I just ask one?
The owner's right here right now for
Ask-
extension.
Yeah, we have, but can I just ask the,
did they have any
survey?
dogs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's just gonna grab an he's just gonna grab an extension, so the owner, while they're here, they can
Well,
sign.
just for giggles, when I'm out on that road,
Yeah.
how do I know when I've reached the, what is it, the the westernmost section?
Right here?
Yeah, how do I get to- what's that point?
There's a stone bound sticking out of the ground right there.
Okay,
It's.
great about?
And there's a vent pipe for their existing septic leach area.
Thank you.
Right here.
Thank
So a
you.
little past that, there's a stone bound. It's very
Awesome.
visible.
Awesome,
It's very visible.
obvious, got it.
What's your pace? What's your pace? How many feet per pace? I've got
27 inches.
33 paces to 100 feet.
Yeah, I take it easy, I'm an old man. I go a little rider.
It's amazing how accurate that system is.
What, pacing? Yeah, I pace every day. I don't even need any tape.
You must have been out
Good
today,
survey.
all
It's
red.
I know.
We're supposed to carry a rod and chain, man.
Yeah, right.
Go old
So,
school.
GPS now.
So we're just waiting for the Form H, I guess.
Yeah, for
Do
extension.
a 5-minute recess.
Why don't we just do an adjournment? We're done, aren't we?
No, we have the OSRD,
What?
the OSRD. So we'll just do a 5-minute recess.
What did I miss?
5-minute recess. I don't think we're gonna be doing much with it. do it for the record, just in
For
case.
the
Okay,
record.
so we are back on, and just to conclude that, we have a Form H that was just signed for an extension, and we'd just like to officially, formally motion that into the record, so.
Mr. Chairman, if you hear it, I'll make a motion to accept the Form H extension of time for, what's the termination date of that, John? Is that the 30th of December?
Yeah, that's the next quarter.
30th of December?
31st.
31st, excuse me, of December.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the Form H for 1-2 Heather Lane, to extend the decision date to the 31st of December 2017. Any discussion? No discussion, on favor? Aye. Okay, so that's that, and then, Tilly, can I have that, or can you email it to me?
No, you can have that, yeah.
It's still it's hard to read it. So we just have that one item left, which is the workshop discussion, open space, OSRD. I'll let John bring us up to date. In terms of, we're not gonna be going in front of the town.
Yeah, the only zoning amendment that's going to be on the fall special town meeting warrant is the moratorium on the recreational marijuana. And we're going to have our formal public hearing on that, our next meeting. So that's been advertised, and, you know,
On the moratorium?
what's that?
We're having, oh, good.
We're having the public hearing, and then, you know, we're gonna be able to meet our deadline of getting that submitted in time for publication as a warrant article for the fall town meeting. Last night, the Board of Selectmen didn't have a quorum, or Monday night, they didn't have a quorum. So, but they're gonna have a special meeting next Monday night to meet all their present deadlines of scheduling. So they'll be scheduling the actual date for that, and we'll be able to meet that with our 27th public hearing, September 27th. So that's really the most important item on our agenda for that meeting.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're gonna, and I crossed all the Ts and dotted all the Is with Mr. Eichmann. Thank God he was in that day. Couldn't find
Alright.
people at the Lawrence Eagle Tribune. We had to go all the way up to the editor in charge.
Oh, wow, really?
It was a beautiful week. Nobody wants to.
Yeah, nobody wanted to work.
Oh, wow.
But we did it.
Got it in time.
So you had to go up to
Under the
Newbury
wire.
for it? Where'd you
No,
go?
no, it was all online, but
Oh, okay.
just finding people to make sure it got in time.
Good for him.
And we had a noon deadline and we met it.
Very good.
Is there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about in the OSRD right now?
You know what, I've had conversation recently with Steve and with Les, and they have some concerns. Like Steve, and I asked them, both of them to put it in writing, and they weren't able to do so for tonight's meeting, but Steve wants the planning board to take into consideration, you know, citing the wetland restrictions, you know, within this proposed set of zoning amendments for the OSRD. And then Les wants to add some clarifying language also, beyond what's already here.
That's great.
Yeah, so they've
glad.
read through it, and, you know, they both want us to take into consideration some other stuff. And since we're not trying to meet a deadline in this fall, but rather in the spring,
Plenty of time to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
That's great, that's great.
yeah, a lot of cooperation going on.
Yeah, that's great. They are nice to work with.
They very much are.
And this isn't a public hearing yet, so we don't have to continue it. We can just, when we wanna pick it up off the table, we pick it up off the
Yeah,
table.
you know what, and then what I'll do, if you guys want, I'll put it back on for the 27th or even the meeting afterwards and flesh out the issues that there's two other staff members wanna include for amendment language.
Remember, Bob's not gonna be here.
Yeah, so we might as well just,
27th is gonna be busy, isn't it? Didn't we continue?
I just keep on saying it's the 13th, it's the 11th, and they should know that, because that Monday is Columbus Day.
There's an affordable component to this. Do you want to just ask the trust if they have any comments?
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Excellent.
Those two projects we dealt with this evening, I knew were going to be complicated. Those,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
those are mind benders, you know, when they were dumped on my desk trying to figure them out. It's like, oh no, it's just another unusual application.
Welcome to Georgetown.
We seem to be
I
getting.
mean, really, I mean,
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
there's nothing clean cut.
Yeah.
There's no land left out there that's
No, it's
clean
all
cut.
the old history.
Yeah, these little right of ways, these ancient right of ways, when you have small ponds or big ponds.
Yeah.
And over the years, people would come up here in the early 1900s and, hey, let's buy that lot right there. And you had people selling 2,500 square foot lots, and they'd put up a one-room shack, and that was your summer getaway. And, none of these right of ways were formalized.
Yeah.
You know, I've had experience dealing with them where planning boards with an application like this will say, well, if you're gonna improve the roadway to a certain extent, you're not gonna have to put sidewalks or anything, but here, you have a situation where there's.
Are we
already-
deliberating?
There's intermingling
It
going
sounds like
on.
it's
Are we deliberating?
No, no. we're just
Motion to
dis-
adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
No, we're just discussing
Motion
stuff that happens.
to adjourn, all
Not
in
anything in
favor?
particular.
Aye.
Aye.
4 yes, 1 absent. Okay.
Put a
Thanks,
muzzle
John.
on him.
Thanks, Kevin.